Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Midnight Therapy. I am your host, Kat Matthews. It is a glorious Sunday morning here. Again, a busy weekend for me. Did not get around to filming on Saturday like I like to. So we are here Sunday morning. Sorry to keep you waiting. I don't even know when it'll get posted. Probably Sunday night. If you're watching this on Sunday night, thank you for spending Sunday with me here at Midnight Therapy. I was rather busy again. My mother had her birthday. Not really. Let me explain for those of you that don't know about the leap year. My mother was born on a leap year, meaning she was born on February 29th, which doesn't happen every year. There is no February 29th every year, only every 4 years. So she really doesn't have a birthday this year. So we had to celebrate on March 1st. Little science, Bill Nye, the science guy spinoff here, the leap year. Thought it was rather interesting. Some of you might not know or may have forgotten when you originally learned it in 8th grade. But I guess the rotation of Earth is 365 and a quarter days, not just 365. There's kind of like 6 extra hours every year. And then every 4 years, they add them all together and it makes another day or 24 hours. So they add it to February. Interesting. Who knows why they came up with that or how, but that's what we still do. Kind of cool, kind of weird, you know. Technically, we should really only celebrate every 4 years, to be honest. And technically, she's very young. But that was fun. We had a good time. We played left, right, center, which is a great game, gambling game. And I won 3 times in a row. If you've ever played left, right, center, you know how that's like impossible. The second time, I was like, I'm walking away with this money. I'm not doing it again. And they're like, you have to play again. I'm like, you're going to be sorry. And I ended up winning again. How wild. I even beat my own mother on her fake birthday. But then I bought her a scratch off ticket and I said, hey, I have a feeling this one's going to be a winner. I just said that and I knew it when I was at the convenience store. I knew it was a winner. And I gave it to her and it was $100 winner. So it all made up. Everything worked out in the end. Then we thought, well, the luck's flowing. Let's go, keep the luck going. So we, I don't know, took a second mortgage out on the house and bet it all on red. Just kidding. But we did go back to the convenient to see if our luck had ran out, and it had. But still, pretty lucky. Pretty lucky. We also went shopping this weekend at the mall. Shout out to the Viewmont Mall. It's like the last mall around here. Steamtown Mall is kind of cooked. It's kind of done. They have like a dental office there and an aquarium and like a sports memorabilia store. And everything else is closed at the Steamtown Mall. Viewmont Mall was popping, as they say. A lot of people. And this is why I want you all to know that we live in a simulation. See, I think I and a few people, definitely my friend Eric, shout out to Eric, we have seen through this simulation for so long that it doesn't shock us as much. Sometimes we don't even comment. Sometimes we'll just say, oh, simulation. Like we'll casually say that. But this one really tripped me up. So all these people, I call them NPCs, a lot of them, they're walking around, not even noticing things. And then I see this. This is a busy mall, granted, and there's like something going on. There's like vendors in the middle, like pop-up vendors, and everyone's running through the mall and shopping, and it's loud. And there's this woman doing like a lecture in the middle of the mall next to the Pepperidge Farm cheese and meat stand and like a cell phone case stand. Like she's in the middle of the mall. Side note, how does the Pepperidge Farm cheese not need to be refrigerated? You know, just sitting out there for years. Anyways, it's in the middle of the mall. This woman's giving a lecture. It's like a TED talk. And that would be normal-ish if it wasn't a crowded mall and the subject matter of the lecture was normal. But you know what it was on? It was on dog food. And I couldn't help but listen. I even like pulled up a chair. There was like, it was open to the public. But here's what really got me. Christy was like, I want to go in Bath and Body Works. I'm like, well, I don't. So I'm going to go listen to the dog food lecture. And this woman is like, I'm not even kidding. I even took a little video. But everyone's walking by in the middle of the mall. It's crowded. And she's sitting there at this like podium. And there's all these people with notepads taking notes. And she's like, now some people think that vegetables and beef is enough, but it isn't. Like your dog needs the fish as well. And they're like, oh, yeah, fish. I should have thought of that. And other people are like open mouth, like, oh man, and like nudging their partner, like, did you hear that? Healthy, balanced diet includes fish and veggies. And I'm like, what is going on? I wish I was lying. I'm not. And this lady was in like a pantsuit, the one doing the lecture, and she was very passionate. She had a PowerPoint in the middle of the mall. There was like a whiteboard she was drawing on. Portion size matters for our canine friends. And the guy's like, see, Dolores, I told you, you're feeding them too much. And they're like into it with notepads, vigorously writing. It was the weirdest thing I had ever experienced. But most people unfazed, you know, they didn't even notice how weird the dog food lecture was at the mall on a crowded Saturday. But I noticed, and I told you, and we'll all forget by tomorrow. We were also shopping for our baby that's on the way, which is also hard. You know, you would think it'd be easy. You know, you need a few things to take care of a baby. Like when you buy a dog, you know, or you adopt a dog, you go and you get the bed, you get some toys, you get the leash, you know, the stuff. So with the baby, you need like a crib and the car seat and the stroller. None of that's easy anymore. They're all like Transformers. And if anyone watches the show that has kids, I doubt it. But if you do, you know how weird it is. Like the car seat transforms into the booster seat, and then that transforms into the stroller. Like it's like attachments. And then like only certain ones are compatible. It's like convoluted. It's like a scam. It's a convoluted scam. It's like, well, you need the model SS5 swivel from toddler all the way up to 5 years old. I don't know, whatever, infant to 5. It's like, oh, that sounds great. And it swivels. So it comes right, you can turn it right out and get out of the car easy. It turns. So it could be forward facing, rearward facing. Yeah, the only catch, it's like a sleazy salesman. He's like, the only catch is that doesn't fit in the stroller. It's like, well, all right, I'll just get a regular stroller. It's like, ooh, tough luck. You need a car seat if you want a stroller because the car seat just goes into the stroller now. And I'm like, well, why don't they just make strollers? And they're like, I don't know. So that got me annoyed. We didn't buy anything. That was really it. It's kind of like lawnmowers from a while back. Lawnmower scams, you know? They're a scam too. Everything's a scam. That's going to be the theme of the pod today. Everything is going to be a scam from here on out, probably. I don't know if anything will be honest anymore, except the show. The show is honest, and it is not a scam. Speaking of the baby, I was researching, which is, you know, ChatGPT and Google nowadays. And I guess playing music for your child in the womb is good. And I like the idea of playing classical music. And I gave this big spiel to Christy the other day of why classical music is better than, you know, some of the modern stuff or crap that the baby's probably hearing in the womb. You know, like whether it's on the radio or whether it's what Christy is singing while cleaning or what me coming down the stairs in the morning playing Primus or Tool. I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's good, but we're gonna try to fix that, correct it by playing some classical music like the Bach and the Beethoven and the Mozart. And I have a good theory of why that is. It's because of postmodernism, obviously. Like we live in postmodernism. For all of you that don't know it, you're going to get a little lesson here today. You already learned about the leap year. Now you're going to learn about postmodernism, philosophical and art movement. Essentially, you had all these great movements of art that reflected society, and now you're kind of in postmodernism, which is kind of not definable. It's kind of just everything being repurposed and reused, parody, commentary. Like it's in the painting world you had, or the art world, the fine art world, you had Michelangelo, and then you got to Warhol. Like Warhol is a postmodern artist, and it's a soup can, and like it's nice and it's really great compared to a duct tape banana to the wall, but it's no Michelangelo's David. You know what I'm saying? Like try to think of it that way. So when you look at it as music, you have these symphonies created by these great composers and musicians, and then you get all the way to Dave Blunt's, and then that's your postmodern, that's your duct tape banana of music today. And everything that came out pretty much recently is in that postmodern era, which is a lot of reused styles. Styles get borrowed, and now country is merging with pop, and it's really just a bunch of, like, you don't even know what's going on. That's postmodernism. When you look at the banana duct taped to the wall at the museum and you're confused, that's how I feel when I hear Jelly Roll singing Country Roads with Machine Gun Kelly, and then Beyonce winning Country Artist of the Year. That's how I feel. Anywho, I think the true great art that could inspire you to become a postmodern artist is only achieved and learned from looking at the classics. So we're going to build the foundational knowledge and connections of music, hopefully in our unborn baby, by listening to Bach, not WAP by Cardi B. I hope that makes sense. If you have the tools from the past, you could write your own music. If you understand how structure works and arpeggios and all that crap and music theory, then maybe you'll be able to write a song one day. But if you're only studying the new people, then you're probably only going to write something a little worse. It's hard to imagine what that would even be. But we'll hear it soon. It might just be noise in like a couple years. Might just be like noise or like the dishwasher running. If that happens, I predicted it here first. But hopefully we can counteract what's going on with our kid. Who knows? We don't want her only listening to these new artists. We also, like, it would be the same thing. It's like if she only saw art by Thomas Kinkade. We don't want that either. We don't want her to listen to the Thomas Kinkade of music. No offense, Thomas Kinkade, but look it up if you don't know. And we're trying to get, we're thinking, like, how do we raise this kid in this world? It's going to be hard. Everyone says the world's so hard and all the shit's changing with AI and all the other crap. We don't want her to have an iPad every second of every day. That's one thing we don't want. And we definitely don't want her to have TikTok too early, like a reasonable age, like maybe like 3, not 2. But that TikTok mind virus is getting worse. I'm going to rant about it a little because it's been bothering me. I get easily triggered by some of the stuff I see online, especially TikTok. But I find it funny. I will say I am susceptible to this also. Like when there's a younger, I don't know, 20-year-old dude screaming in a Home Goods, and then when the lady comes over, he goes, "I don't know, I heard that too." I'll watch those videos for an hour. They did me nothing, and it did society nothing. But it entertained us for a little, and it distracted us from our bills and our mortgage and stuff, and all the chores we have to do, and that we're going to work forever and all that stuff. So that was nice. But it's becoming a problem. You have like the Costco guys eating chicken bakes for a living and talk to a girl. Well, she fell off, But there's mindless nonsense on there, time wasting nonsense. And when you're a developing brain, when you're a baby or a child and your brain's developing, and your foundation is being built as the Costco guys as your highest form of art or entertainment, that's a problem. I want our daughter to have at least some classical art and music in there first before Peppa Pig, I don't want Peppa Pig to be the apex of her existence. Or maybe that would be nice. Who knows? I don't know. I do think TikTok is a waste of time. I do think it's degenerating society in a lot of ways. And there are some good to it. I listened to Mike DeBarber. I tried it out. But I do think it's a rat race to try to come up with the most entertaining or temporarily entertaining video and holding on to that, I guess, undeserved fame as long as possible to, I guess, advance yourself monetarily or egotistically as being TikTok famous. I don't know. I know it could catapult you to the next thing if you have talents and stuff that people can go find, like if you do the viral video of you, I don't know, screaming or building a house in Home Depot, like building a little dollhouse in Home Depot and then them kicking you out. And if you do that and then it's like, hey, follow my podcast, and then your podcast blows up, I guess that's great. But I don't think that happens all the time. I think some people are just like dumpster diving, and that's it. They're not working. They're just dumpster diving for a living because all we do is watch them dumpster dive at work. Shout out to Biff if you're watching. Biff actually defended TikTok a little, and I actually agree with him. He said it's just like a movie trailer or like a preview of a movie. It gives you a taste of what's coming, and then you go and look at the profile and you find everything else. That's nice. Like the short form content is kind of like a movie preview in that way. It's just shorter. Just like if you're trying to be a musician, little clip of the song gets you to the whole song. The clip was 5-10 seconds. The song's 3 minutes. Just like the 1 minute preview gets you to watch the 2-hour movie. I get it. And I like that. But I don't know if that's all that's going on. I think some people don't have the landing pad after. I think it's just, what do you do for a living? It's like, I make videos of me eating Taco Bell in the car and telling you what I thought of the chalupa. And then what? Well, that's it. Okay. And people get mad because they're doing that, making pretty good money, and everybody else is going to work every day, and that sucks because working does suck. Don't kid yourself. That's why they pay you to do it. It sucks. But you don't want to compare your life to these people. You don't know what they got going on. You don't know how hard they worked. And you don't know how miserable their life is. So remember, comparison is the thief of joy. Remember that. This is a philosophical show. This is therapy. Do not compare. It will only upset you. Be happy with what you have. We all have great lives. You have to remember, life's going to take everything from you eventually. Your health, your money, your family, your house. And nothing is really yours here. You're just borrowing it for as long or as short as life lets you. So don't get too upset. Just enjoy what you have in your little world. This is always like the Aladdin story with the genie. He goes, it's an unquenchable thirst. Like I never met somebody that didn't want more, all men want to be rich. Rich men want to be king. King ain't satisfied till he owns everything. Springsteen. But it's true. You're never going to be satisfied. You're always going to want more, and you're always going to wish you did things different. So just stop doing that. Stop comparing and just enjoy your life. This is your book. It's not like everybody else's. So if somebody is making a living diving in dumpsters and pulling out brand new bath towels from Bed Bath and Beyond and showing the world them doing that while you work at Ace Hardware, don't be upset. You're in charge of your own destiny. You could go do that too. But don't be upset. The only thing you should be upset about is that there's dog food lectures going on at the mall and nobody cares. That's all I have to say. And Shrek 5. Shrek 5 is coming out, and nobody asked for it. It was kind of perfect the way it was. The Shrek series. I think 4 kind of fell off. I really don't even remember 3 and 4. I remember Shrek 1 and 2 was awesome. Shrek 2 was one of the only movies where the second one was better than the first. And Toy Story. But yeah, nobody wanted Shrek 5, and we didn't want it animated in the way they did. They completely changed the animation. They made it Disney like. And I think Disney does own it now. I don't know if that's right. Check that for me if you want. I don't know if they own DreamWorks now. I think they do. But they really Disneyfied these characters, these beloved Shrek characters. It looks like Frozen or Encanto now, with the big eyes and the soft skin. This is an ogre. He's not supposed to be cute. He's supposed to be ogre. He's supposed to be ugly and eat onions and fart. That's why we liked Shrek. It was like an adult movie, and it made fun of the Disney princess stuff. And now Disney's like, we'll take that and we'll Disneyfy it, and it'll be Moana, and they'll be singing. Sure, it might be a musical. They might sing in this new one. I wouldn't doubt it. Disney kind of ruins everything they touch in some ways. They're really good at some things, like their Pixar stuff, like Soul and Inside Out. Like they hit it out of the park with those. But when they try to like remake stuff and redo like the live actions and Star Wars, they completely destroy beloved franchises, you know? And it's like a double flusher with Disney. And if some of you don't know what that means, it means the shit is so big you have to flush twice. Recently, they've been sucking it up real bad, Disney. So I mean, Snow White's going to be a disaster probably for for a, for multiple reasons. And this Shrek is probably going to be bad unless what they did to Sonic happens to Shrek, where they all the fans bullied them to redo Sonic, like to reanimate, and they did. Maybe they'll reanimate Shrek back to the DreamWorks version. Who knows? But I would have been excited for that, but I'm not really now. You know? Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. You got to think what Disney's doing. These stories are already great. Like Star Wars was great. Snow White was great. The Lion King was great. All the live actions they remade. The hard part's done. Like we have every scene. We know what happens. We have the script. We have the dialogue. We have the songs. All you have to do is make it visually new. You know? So you have everything there, and they still mess it up. That's what's the problem. And you got to think how many times they're making money off of the same, movie. Like Lion King came out, who knows when. Snow White came out. I think that was the first full-length animated movie ever, like that Walt Disney did. I think it was in the 30s, 37. Going on almost 100 years now, like 90 years, just shy. And they're still making money off the same movie, which is crazy. I say that about music all the time. Think about music. So say you are a band that came out, let's use Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen comes out in the 73, and his music gets recorded on vinyl records, different sizes, 78, 45, and he sells a bunch of records, actually, like physically, literally sells records. Then the A-track player comes out, and he starts making A-tracks of the same albums. So let's just say Born to Run. Born to Run comes out on vinyl. Then Born to Run comes out on A-track. Then the cassette player. Then Born to Run comes out on the cassette player. Same album, but now the media or the source of how you listen to the music changes, so we have to rebuy it again. Then the CD comes out, and then you have to buy Born to Run again on the CD. Remember, this is pre-streaming at this point. It's like 2000s. Then the iPod and iTunes, where you had to buy each song and download it on your computer and then transfer it to the stupid little device with no screen and then plug your headphones in. So he made money again off Born to Run. Then streaming comes out, and then you are streaming Born to Run, and he made money 8 different times on the same song. Me today, Cat Matthews, will never make any of that money. I will only make money from streams, which is like if enough people listen, then they throw me a couple pennies. I'll never sell a physical form of media. you know? And that's unfair. But Disney will. They have made money off Snow White and all those beloved characters for years, and now they just remake it. It's like, oh well, just look through all the movies we made and let's just remake them in a different animation style. We don't even have to write anything new. Just tell the same story. Just make it look different. Call it live action. How was The Lion King live action when it was just an animated movie? There was no people in that movie. Nothing was live or action. Just different animation. Instead of 2D flat cell animation, it was CGI animation. Don't be fooled. News recap. I'm not getting into this. I refuse to talk about this stuff anymore until it gets real crazy. I'm disappointed. Number one, the Epstein list. Supposed to come out day one. And I said this, go back and watch. I said this with the JFK files and everything. It's all going to be blacked out and you're not going to learn anything. It's all a farce. It's like a gimmick to keep you appeased. It's like, we're exposing corruption. Same with Doge. We're exposing corruption. It's all a gimmick. They released the Epstein files. They were like waving them around like it was a gold medal that they won at the Olympics. They were like, hey, look, we got the binder. This is all the people that were child trafficked and all the celebrities that are corrupt. That's funny. It's not funny. Second of all, nothing new came out. Everything was blacked out. And the fun fact is there was even less information available than the previously released documents from like 4 years ago. More was blacked out now. And then you still have people, they're releasing the Epstein files. No, they're not. Wake up. They're never releasing those files because all of Washington and all of Hollywood would crumble. And they're not going to let that happen. People still need protection. The people that were involved in Kennedy's assassination, their grandkids or their children are still in government and they have families and kids and they need protection. That's why they're never going to get released, and especially the Epstein. That was going on not long ago. Kennedy was 50 years ago or more. So don't sit around waiting for that to happen. That's never going to happen. The Trump Zelensky thing, terrible PR. Terrible. It looks terrible to do something like that live. I don't think anybody anticipated that. I see both sides. I get the points being made. It's just how it was done looked awful. How it was done looked awful on live TV, yelling at each other. World leaders in a terrible situation, yelling at each other. Not good. Do we have to stop funding Ukraine to continue this war any further? Yeah, we do. If possible. It's 2025. There's totally a way to find a peace agreement that we can both agree on and Russia could agree on instead of fighting an endless forever war. I don't think this is like glamorized romantic war from the movies. This is not that. And no war ever is that. So anybody who gets it wrong that like war is heroic and fun and Zelensky's a hero, sure, but like the real goal is having none of your people die. You know what I'm saying? It always sounds so good, like you got to fight and defend. It's like, yeah, that's great, but is there another way? That's a good last resort, but is there another way? And if you have the U.S. president saying we could find a way to end this war, I think we should at least talk about it. You know, I think we should at least talk about ending war instead of giving you more bombs and missiles to continue the war. You know, you had Biden talking about regime change in Russia. I don't think that should never be on the table. That's not our business. You know, we just don't want you to attack Ukraine, Russia. That's it. Anymore. We're going to stop. But Biden's talking, we're going to have regime change in Russia. It's like, what? This is not 1930. Like, what are we doing? I don't know. And for the record, I don't think Russia plans on taking over the world. That's another boogeyman theory I think people have. That Russia has these aspirations to take over all of Europe. I don't think that's the case. And I ask all these people, what if China wanted to be in an alliance with Mexico, and then China joined Mexico, and there was Chinese government in Mexico, and Mexico was under the Chinese government. Do you think we would be thrilled with that? You think we'd be thrilled? We wouldn't. We would probably try to stop it, right? That's all I'm saying. So, but then to further that example, do you think Europe would then send a bunch of money to us to help us defend against China? Probably not. Probably not. Because this isn't fantasy land. It's not black and white, cut and dry. It's not. There's so much going on in the background. The military industrial complex always needs a war. You know, it's good for our economy and it's good for the investors. And that's why we like keeping these little wars going long enough, but never really getting involved, you know? And we want you to believe that it's a great cause, even though most people can't point to where Ukraine is on a map. And they have no idea about President Zelensky's past. But you could look it up. It's a free country. Anywho, that was a fiasco, even though, like I said, all the points I just made, I still think how it was handled was horrible. You know, that doesn't look good. And it gives the media and the left tons of ammunition to go insane and change their profile pictures to I stand with Ukraine and all that, and have Ukraine protests and all that stuff. You know, it just doesn't look good. And you could avoid it. If you're the Trump administration, you could avoid that. Here's my advice to the Trump administration. I'm neutral in this situation. I'm not defending or, you know, I'm not endorsing anybody at this point. Here's my advice, though, for the betterment of the country. Trump, disassociate yourself from Elon Musk a little bit. Also, don't kick foreign leaders out of the White House, especially when you're trying to end a war. Now, here's another prediction. And I'm not happy about this, but this is what I see happening. I guarantee you Putin will be at that White House soon, and he will kiss the ring of Trump. He will say, Mr. Trump, thank you for having me here. It's an honor. I brought you these gifts. He's going to do everything Zelensky didn't do. You know, he's going to wear a very nice suit. He's going to kiss the ring, kiss the boot, and beg Trump for a deal to end the war. And Trump's going to favor Russia in that deal because he's going to feel it makes him look better because he was respected. And that's not going to be good. You know what I'm saying? What do I know? Again, I'm just a cowboy in the basement. And this is not a news show. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a licensed therapist. To tie it back to the simulation, just so you all know, this is a simulation. The president of the United States, Donald Trump, shared a video this week. It was an AI-generated video of Trump Gaza. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it and realize that the president of the United States actually approved this being shared on his social media platform. And it was the most weird, disturbing, dystopian Gaza. It was like, it looked like Trump Tower was an entire region. Everything was gold and big towers and women and golf courses and drinks. And there were bearded belly dancers on the beach. I don't even know what's going on anymore. Elon Musk and Trump were like having cocktail shrimp. And he shared it. Now, is he just trolling or is that what he really wants? I don't know, but you have to understand things are getting odd. It's not even just here in America. I saw this other story that there was this woman shirtless, so like topless woman dressed as Hitler. She had a Hitler haircut and a Hitler mustache, and she had writing all over, and she spray painted a swastika on the Berlin Wall. And I think you know, it's to be assumed this was a protest against Nazism in Germany. But what a weird way to do it, you know? Like, why would you dress up like Hitler with your breasts out? You know? And why would you spray paint a swastika on the Berlin Wall if you're against it? You know what I'm saying? That's like being, you know, I don't even know what that's like. It's like wearing a Klan outfit and saying I hate racism. Like what is that? I don't know. Life's getting weirder. I will tell you that. Life is getting weirder. It might all be a game, it might all be a simulation. Speaking of that woman though, I have to say it, Adolf Hitler. Kind of funny. Shout out, you know who you are. That's about it today. Elon Musk went on Rogan again. I am so sick of Elon Musk at this point. I hope he starts doing good, improving results, and having receipts. Until then, I don't need to see anymore. I'm good, in my opinion. I did get all the SpongeBob Weebles. If you saw them, they've been dancing around the whole podcast. Very proud of that. I didn't earn them though in an admirable way. I just got the ones I was missing off eBay. You know, like typing in Mermaid Man Weeble Wobble SpongeBob toy, paying $4 or so for these. That's what life comes to. You got to find what makes you happy. I have a comedy show coming up April 5th at the Hotel Anthracite in Carbondale, Pennsylvania. I got to get ready for that. I usually prepare about a week before, because so much changes. I want the set to be relevant. As always, this show is brought to you in part by Jack's Pub and Eatery and Three Saints Barbershop, located in historic downtown Jessup, Pennsylvania. Mike the Barber, doing well, doing awesome, as always. Hanging out with him Wednesdays at Jack's, always a fun time. That's a podcast in and of itself. If only we recorded it. That's going to be it. Nice, quick episode today. As always, stay curious, my friends, and good night.